Come this way. Don't worry. Don't run. Don't run. Don't run.
It's a good time for a picture.
Huh?
Can I take a picture now of him?
My goodness. My goodness is right. This encounter could easily have turned tragic. So as we can see, this adventurer, he finds himself at the mercy of a powerful gorilla. This was a silverback. The gorilla grabs the man and drags him a few feet before letting him go, as you can see. This just shows you how strong these creatures are. I mean, they can bench like 4,000 pounds. In comparison to a human being, not even Arnold Schwarzenegger or, Mr. Olympias could compare. So fortunately, a bit of luck was on this adventurer's side, and it allowed him to walk away from the incident unscathed. But it's important to note that, gorillas are amongst the most strongest primates, with adults weighing up to 400 pounds. They're also highly territorial, and they're social animals as well. Now, the gorilla here likely grabbed and dragged the man as a display of dominance, or maybe to assert its reign over its territory. And these are common behaviors when it comes to gorillas, especially when they feel threatened or they feel challenged. That's why it's very important not to maintain eye contact. As you can see, nobody was staring the gorillas in the eyes here because they can easily take that as a challenge. And you definitely don't want to challenge a gorilla, I'll tell you that. So when you're venturing into these areas inhabited by such powerful animals and wild animals, not to mention unpredictable, you got to be prepared for situations like this. And I guess sometimes you just got to be lucky, like this man was. Now, experts recommend that you maintain a safe distance from gorillas and be aware of their behavioral cues. And if you find yourself in such a situation, then it's crucial to avoid making eye contact, like I mentioned before, and make sure that you back away slowly and do not turn your back on the animal, as just like, with big cats especially, or actually any predator out there. The moment you turn your back, they see that as an opportunity to attack, or they see that as you being intimidated. So definitely a crazy encounter. Now let's move on to the next one.
Get back.
So in this video, as you can see, the hunter, he found himself in a tense situation. This was in Idaho. He had a very close call with a mountain lion. It began to approach him. It got curious about him. And the hunter, you can tell, he really didn't want to hurt this big cat. He tried his best to deter the situation as safely as possible before he fired those warning shots. So he did a good job of protecting himself and also the cat. Because at the end of the day, we are the creatures with the cognitive capacity to reason and, critically think in these situations on our feet. Unfortunately, big cats and most animals don't have the kind of capability we do. So it's great that this man remained calm and no injuries came as a result of this potentially lethal encounter. So as you can see here, the man did not run. That's one thing, of course, you never want to do. He made himself appear larger, especially with the firm way in which he was telling the big cat to back away. He maintained eye contact. Unlike with some animals, maintaining eye contact with a mountain lion is advised because it does show that you're the more dominant creature, you're not scared of it. And then another thing is, if you don't have a gun with you, then you can throw objects in order to deter the lion. Big cats can get scared away by, if you throw rocks, sticks, or even other objects in its direction, but not directly at it, just so you can scare it away. And then, of course, there's the option of fighting back. Now, this is a last resort. If the mountain lion does attack or it does make a charge at you, remember there's bluff charges and then there's actual charges. You want to fight back with all your strength if it does come to fighting back. Use rocks, sticks, or even your bare hands if you have to, if you don't have anything else in your vicinity to help you with, to fend it off. So you want to aim for the eyes, you want to aim for the nose, as these are sensitive areas for big cats, and they increase your likelihood that you're going to do at least some damage, because these are formidable creatures at the end of the day. They're super strong, and they're way more agile and way more powerful than us, and, adept to killing. So super important that, especially if you're not armed, you use anything in your vicinity that can help you fight the mountain lion off. Now, another thing you can do is use bear spray. Although it's called bear spray, it can still be used against big cats. It's effective on mountain lions. It's been used before. You just got to know how to use it and keep it accessible, and that can be a big help in situations like these. Traveling in groups. Now, mountain lions are much less likely to approach multiple people in the wild. You want to make sure you also keep your children close if you have children with you, and pick them up without bending over if you do encounter a mountain lion, and have them stand close to you. So you want to be prepared, you want to understand mountain lion behavior, and this can help you react appropriately during an encounter and reduce the risk of both you, your loved ones, and or the animal getting hurt. Okay, so moving on to the next one.
Hey.
Now, usually black bears, they're generally more timid compared to grizzly bears. They often avoid human interaction. However, if a black bear does approach you, it could be a sign that the bear is in a predatory state. So in such cases, acting like prey or running away or showing fear, this can definitely trigger the bear's predatory instincts, and this makes the situation highly dangerous and potentially lethal. What the biker did here was key. He did not run. He turned around, he faced the bear, he made himself look much bigger. He did not climb a tree because bears are excellent climbers. He didn't do anything like that. He instead just stood his ground, and that's the best deterrent for black bears. They're not like grizzly bears, where grizzly bears you got to play dead. That's probably your best bet, and just protect your vital areas and curl into a ball, because grizzlies, they're territorial. It's usually not a predatory attack when you're attacked by one. However, when it comes to black bears, they're trying to eat you. So you got to be super careful when it comes to these creatures. And what this mountain biker did here, that's exactly what you want to do. If you don't have bear spray, if you're not armed, then just make yourself look as big as possible, make loud noises, be firm in your voice, assert dominance, and that should scare away the bear in most situations. Okay, so in this video, a BBC wildlife film crew was actually looking for wild dogs for their next segment when they suddenly came across this insane encounter between a pack of wild dogs and a leopard. Now, as you can see, these wild dogs are actually winding up this leopard who's too graceful and far too proud to be killed by a bunch of wild dogs, so it's just sitting up on this tree. And then suddenly, as this film crew is just taping this scenario, the leopard notices them, and then it just loses its temper, jumps off from the tree, and just starts charging right at them. So as the camera crashes to the ground, the crew can be heard screaming, basically, capturing the sheer horror of the moment. And then in a quick thinking move, just like I mentioned before, big cats, you can throw items at them in order to deter them. So one of the crew members, he threw his hat to distract the leopard, and then this key action provided just enough time for him to scramble to the front of the vehicle and drive off, managing to get himself and the rest of the crew to safety. So remarkably, no one was harmed, because leopards, once again, there have been man-eating leopards, big cases of those in India. One of them is called the man-eating leopard of Rudraksh. They've been known to eat human beings and hunt human beings even, and develop a taste for them. But that doesn't mean that all of them do this. Of course, humans kill many more animals than animals kill humans, so this is something to note as well. So in this horrific encounter, a snowmobiler narrowly escapes a charging moose in Palisades, Idaho. Now the thing with moose is that when they're in heat, they're extremely aggressive. Not to mention they're huge. They can weigh anywhere between 600 to 1700 pounds, and this makes them one of the largest mammals in North America. So their sheer size alone can make them a formidable adversary, especially when you get on their bad side. You never want to be around moose during breeding season, or in general, you want to be very wary around them. Now, although these animals are generally considered to be solitary and relatively peaceful, moose, they can become highly aggressive, like I said, during the mating season. This is when, once again, they're in heat, which is also known as the rut. That's another word for it. During this period, male moose or bulls, they're known to charge at perceived threats relentlessly. Like they will trample you. And this can include humans. It's happened quite a few times. There have been deaths associated with moose attacks, severe injuries. There's plenty of those that you can find online, but this one is one of the most horrifying ones and lesser known ones that I could find. And broken bones, injuries from lacerations or puncture wounds, internal injuries, internal bleeding, or even fatalities. These things are, once again, not out of question when it comes to moose attacks. So you want to be really careful around moose. This man was extremely lucky. This didn't end up much worse. The moose just manages to graze him and he falls to the floor. Had it made full contact, he likely would have been crushed. So extremely lucky that this man got away unscathed. We just did an episode actually where a safari tour guide in Africa actually got attacked by a hippo, and the hippo attempted to swallow him 3 times. So just imagine being stuck head first in the mouth of a hippo. Not only is the breath going to be terrible, but it's likely the last thing you're ever going to smell. So if you haven't checked that episode out, I will leave it for you at the end screen of this video. I just wanted to make this video to kind of bring variety to the channel. We usually just cover the stories, but I also wanted to somehow play within the rules of this platform. I'm not allowed to show animal attacks, of course, because they're too graphic. But at the end of the day, encounters, they're close calls. Once again, respect to all the victims, respect to all the people that uploaded these videos. I will leave the links to the original channels and the original videos in the description if you guys want to check those out and support those channels. Thanks for all your support. I'll see you in the next episode. This is Animal Al. Peace.